Hello and welcome back to the David67 Celtic News YouTube channel. Today's Friday afternoon video is going to be a preview of Celtic's last league game of the season. Game is against St Mirren, home game. Kickoff is 12:30. Game is live on Sky Sports. And after the game, Celtic of course will be getting their trophy for winning yet another Scottish Premiership League. To add to the trophy cabinet, and hopefully tomorrow's league trophy will be part two of a treble with the Aberdeen Cup final next weekend. In today's video, we're going to have a wee look at predicted lineup, predicted score, some stats between Celtic and St Mirren, and a few other relevant stats, and just briefly touching on the press conference of Brendan Rodgers this afternoon, and looking at one or two wee other Celtic-related news stories. So, first of all, Brendan Rodgers did his usual pre-game press conference. Nothing terribly interesting. He's confirmed, unfortunately, that Reo Hatate is out for the rest of the season. Not too specific as to the nature of his knee injury, but is suggesting that Reo Hatate should be back for the start of pre-season. So it does look like he's going to be out for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, something along those lines. But if he is back for pre-season or early in pre-season, it should mean he's all fit and ready for the first league game. Then shortly after that will be our Champions League qualifier final round game against an opponent yet to be determined. And it's still not yet determined whether Celtic will be seeded or unseeded for that last phase of Champions League qualifying, as we're still waiting for a few other European leagues to finish, as some of the potential winners of those leagues have a higher coefficient than Celtic and some have a lower coefficient, and it's all a wee bit complicated for another few weeks until everything's done and dusted all around Europe. In terms of other matters, suggestion was that Cameron Carter-Vickers should be back in the squad. Alistair Johnson should be back in the squad. No mention of Dyson Maida being out for tomorrow, and given the fact that it was Kasper Schmeichel who did the player press conference shortly before Brendan Rodgers, it does suggest that Kasper Schmeichel will be the goalkeeper for tomorrow and for the cup final, if all goes well. Rodgers didn't really touch on any other issues, saying things along the lines of, this is the happiest he's been at Celtic. Unfortunately, none of the journalists then probed him on as to whether he's going to stay for longer than the third year of his third 3-year contract, which was a wee bit unfortunate. But it did imply that Brendan Rodgers was enjoying being Celtic manager for a second time, enjoying bringing through players, enjoying managing to take on and overcome different challenges and new challenges than the ones he faced in his first spell as Celtic manager. Moving on to predicted team, I think from what Brendan Rodgers has said in today's press conference and in previous press conferences, his intention is to go into tomorrow's game against St Mirren with as strong a possible starting 11 as possible. Thus, I think he's going to start with Kasper Schmeichel in goals, Alistair Johnston at right back, Cameron Carter-Vickers at right centre-back, Liam Scales at left centre-back, and Greg Taylor at left back. Callum McGregor in the number 6 role, and I think some play on the basis that Paulo Bernardo has been one step ahead of Luke McCowan for the whole season. I think Paulo Bernardo will come in for Reo Hatate, and Arnie Engels will be back in the team. Out wide on the right will be Nicholas Kuhn, on the left Dyson Maida, and through the middle Adam Ida. Not clear whether Rodgers may instead start with James Forrest on the right, keeping Kuhn on the bench. But the suggestion was that James Forrest will get every chance to score a goal this season to keep up his incredible record of scoring every season as a Celtic first-teamer. In terms of predicted score, I'm going to go for a nice comfortable Celtic win. I'm going to go for a 4-1 win. St Mirren do have a potential chance of coming fifth in the league, which would move them into a potential European qualifying spot. At the moment, Hibs are certain to be number 3, Rangers are certain to be number 2, and Dundee United and Aberdeen are fighting out for 4th and 5th place, but there is a possibility if St Mirren did cause an upset result, which I don't think they will do, that they could leapfrog one or the other of those two teams up into a potential European qualifying spot. This also would be dependent on Celtic beating Aberdeen the following weekend in the Cup final for those other teams to get a chance for a European qualifier, to the best of my reading of all the various rules and regulations. Looking at the relevant stats for Celtic against St Mirren games, Celtic have played St Mirren in all competitions all time 60 times. Celtic have 50 wins, 5 draws, just 5 defeats over all those years. Celtic have beaten St Mirren 8 times in a row, and over the last 12 games against St Mirren, Celtic have 11 wins and 1 draw. So quite remarkable, good record against St Mirren. Looking at Celtic playing against St Mirren at Celtic Park, Celtic playing at home against St Mirren in the last 37 games between Celtic and St Mirren at Celtic Park, 33 wins for Celtic, 3 draws and just 1 defeat. So quite remarkable record there. And going into the last game of the season, Celtic have won their last game of the season 14 times out the last 17, with 2 draws and just 1 defeat. Celtic have now moved on to 111 goals for the season and would require 5 more to get to their equalise their highest ever number of goals, which is 116, and that was back in the 1915-1916 season. Celtic scored 115 in the 35-36 season, and more recently 114 in the 22-23 season, and Postecoglou's second and final season at Celtic, that was 114, and back in 1937-38 Celtic scored 113. And so if Celtic were to equal their all-time record, it would take a 5-goal total against St Mirren tomorrow, and obviously 6 to beat that. However, I'm hoping for a 4-1 win for Celtic. This, of course, will be the 4th time Celtic have played St Mirren this season. First time was back in August last year, 25th of August, when Celtic won 3-0 away from home at St Mirren, with goals by McGregor, Hatate and Alsa Johnston. We next played St Mirren at Celtic Park, this time on the 5th of January 2025, again winning 3-0 with 2 goals from Nicholas Kuhn and a headed goal from a corner by Austin Trusty. And most recently we played St Mirren away from home on the 1st of March, beating them 5-2, and that was a game in which Celtic got their goals through Jeffrey Schlupp, a penalty by Arnie Engels, a couple of goals for Yang, and Dyson Maida got a goal in that match as well to give Celtic a 5-2 win. I think tomorrow's game is going to be a comfortable win. I'm going for 4-1, but I certainly think Celtic are going to win by a good 2 or 3 goals. A nice fitting end to the season. Now, moving on to other Celtic news. Not a terribly big news day in terms of Celtic news today. Quite a lot of speculation regarding Luis Palma. It does look like Olympiacos are not going to take up the option to buy Luis Palma at the end of his loan deal. However, all the other top teams in Greece apparently are lining up to buy him, and so we'll see how that all transpires. also some speculation that 20 Enschede won't be following through with an offer for Gustav Lagerbielke at the end of the season due to a lack of money and a lack of European football for the next season as well. And so it could well be that Luis Palma and Gustav Lagerbielke are back in Celtic pre-season training. And currently also quite a lot of speculation as to whether Mike Nawrocki might get a second chance under Brendan Rodgers, given the fact that Nawrocki, although he's only played five times this season, he's actually been in quite impressive form, particularly in his last couple of games for Celtic. And in his last game for Celtic, I think he defended very well alongside Austin Trusty, and of course scored a goal and rarely looked in any trouble in the game against Aberdeen on last Wednesday. So that just about finishes things off for this Friday afternoon video. As we go, just a wee polite suggestion, encouragement. If you are new to the channel, not yet subscribed, please do click that subscriber button. Keep those subscriber numbers going up and up. If you do like the channel, please do click that like button and do feel free to pass on the name of the channel, the details of the channel, this type of videos on the channel to other Celtic fans and football fans, etc. And as always, do feel free to pop your own thoughts, comments, opinions into the comment section regarding the team, the lineup, and any other Celtic issues. And so, until the next video, goodbye, good luck Celtic in beating St Mirren tomorrow, and hail, hail!